I'd like to call to order this meeting of the Municipal Planning Commission. The Municipal Planning Commission is conducting this meeting in person and via conference call in accordance with the Municipal Government Act, Section 199. Council chambers is now open for public attendance in person. However, members may still join meetings remotely using our current teleconference process. As per Wheatland County Policy 7.13, members of the public are not permitted to speak unless the Commission agrees to hear from them. If the Commission agrees to allow the public to speak, the Chair will call upon specific individuals at that time. Please note this call is being recorded and will be uploaded to our website and or social media. For any individuals using the conference call line, we ask that you mute your phone to eliminate background noise. Everyone has a right to be present at Municipal Planning Council meetings or Commission meetings. Any attendees that are considered disruptive to the progression of this meeting may be removed at the discretion of the Chair as per Municipal Government Act, Section 198. I thank you for your cooperation and understanding. As Member Link is joining remotely, I will call I'll have a roll call vote. Member Eichert is present. Member Bigger.
Present.
Member Laprice.
Present.
Member Larson.
Present.
Member Kester.
Present.
Member Clausen.
Present.
Member Link.
Good morning.
Thank you, everybody. We have an agenda in front of us. Are there any additions or deletions? If not, MPC's wishes. Yes, Member Clausen.
I'll move the agenda as presented.
Thank you very much. I will call the vote. Member Eichert is in favor. Member Bigger.
In favor?
Member Laprice.
In favor.
Member Larson.
In favor.
Member Kester.
In favor.
Member Clausen.
In favor.
Member Link.
In favor.
That is passed. We have the unapproved minutes of January 14th, 2025. MPC's wishes. Yes, Member Laprice.
I'll move to accept the minutes, approve the minutes as presented.
Thank you very much. I'll call the vote. Member Eichert is in favor. Member Bigger.
In favor?
Member Laprice.
In favor.
Member Larson.
In favor.
Member Kester.
In favor.
Member Clausen.
In favor.
And Member Link.
In favor.
Thank you very much. That moves on to, we will now move on to development permit applications. Take it away.
Good morning, MPC. Rachel Hanson-Beaton with Planning Development Services, here to present the first three development permits. DP 2024-134 is for 2 existing buildings and a fence requiring a variance. The property is located within the hamlet of Gleason, 40 meters north of Crowfoot Street on the east side of 8th Avenue. Page 13 shows the site plan. The application is to address the non-compliant structures located on the subject lands. A compliance review indicated the covered deck on the front of the dwelling did not have a development permit and does not meet the required setbacks. An existing shed and fence also do not meet the required setbacks as per the table on page 7. On December 17, 2024, an encroachment agreement for the 2 structures was presented to Council for a decision. The encroachment agreement was approved by Council and provides support for the variance application, variance application. In order to receive a compliant status, variances are required for the front deck, shed, and fence. Alternatively, the structures which do not meet the current setbacks may either be removed from the parcel, a permit may be issued with a requirement that the structures be moved into compliance, or approval of a development permit with a variance to the setbacks is required. This application has been made to request 3 variances. The application has been circulated internally and to agencies and to surrounding properties +1. Fire services did comment that no significant concerns, but it should be noted in the event the fence was to catch fire, it would most likely spread to the shed. County operations did state, though there is a significant encroachment upon the right-of-way by the shed and fence, historically has not hindered the usability of the alleyway, and therefore Transportation Department has no concerns with the encroachment at this time. Pages 17 to 21 show photos. Oops. conclusion, staff recommend that Municipal Planning Commission approve DP 2024-134 for the two existing buildings and a fence requiring a variance, subject to the following conditions 1 through 3, found on page 8. The proposal generally aligns with the South Saskatchewan Regional Plan, Regional Growth Management Strategy, Municipal Development Plan, and the Land Use Bylaw. MPC has the standard 3 responses options found on page 10. This concludes my presentation. Please let me know if you have any questions.
Thank you very much. MPC's wishes?
Chair Eichert.
Yes, Member Link?
I would move that Municipal Planning Commission approve DP 2024-134 for two existing structures and a fence requiring variances, subject to the conditions included in the recommendation.
Thank you very much. Any discussion? Seeing and hearing none, I'll call the vote. Member Akers in favor. Member Bigger?
In favor?
Member Laprise?
In favor.
Member Larson?
In favor.
Member Kester?
In favor.
Member Clausen?
In favor.
Member Link?
In favor.
That is passed. We will now move on to DP 2024-134.
DP 2024-136 is for an existing shed requiring 2 variances. On page 26 shows the site plan. The property is located within the hamlet of Gleason, 23 meters south of Grisback Street and east side of Haskayne Avenue. The application has been circulated internally to agencies and to the adjacent surrounding properties +1. Fire services did state no significant concerns. It should be noted that due to the close proximity in the event of a fire in the shed, the house will be an exposure from the direct flame contact. It is also noted that the shed is made of metal, so the risk is reduced. This application is to address the non-compliant metal shed located on the subject lands. The compliance review indicated an existing shed which did not meet the setbacks of the land use bylaw. In order to receive a compliant status, variances are required for the shed in 2 places, as found on the table on page 22. Alternatively, the shed may either be removed from the parcel, a permit may be issued with the requirement that the structure be moved into compliance, or approval of a development permit with a variance to the setback is required. This application has been made to request 2 variances. Pages 31 to 33 show pictures of the shed. In conclusion, staff recommends that Municipal Planning Commission approve DP 2024-136 for an existing shed requiring 2 variances, subject to the following conditions 1 through 3 found on page 23. Staff are of the opinion that the proposal generally aligns with the South Saskatchewan Regional Plan, Regional Growth Management Strategy, Municipal Development Plan, and the Land Use Bylaw. MPC has the standard 3 responses found on page 24. This concludes my presentation. Please let me know if you have any questions.
Thank you. MPC's wishes.
Chair Eichert.
Member Link, go ahead.
I would move that Municipal Planning Commission approve Development Permit 2024-136 for an existing shed requiring 2 variances, subject to the conditions included in the recommendation.
Thank you very much. Discussion? Yes, Member Kester.
Just curious, is there a fire regulation, how far buildings have to be apart, or is that just up to the homeowner? Because that seems extremely close to me.
I don't know when it's an accessory building. I think when it's a dwelling, there is a regulation that they shouldn't be closer than 1.2 meters, but when it's a shed to a dwelling, I don't think there's a specific regulation. But fire did review it and thought the risk was manageable because it's a metal shed, and they didn't have any concerns.
Okay, thanks for clearing that up.
Thank you for that question. Any more discussion? Seeing and hearing none, I'll call the vote. Member Akers in favor. Member Bigger.
In favor?
Member Laprise.
In favor.
Member Larson.
In favor.
Member Kester.
In favor.
Member Clausen.
In favor.
And Member Link.
In favor.
That is passed. Thank you. We will now move on to DP 2024-135 DP
2024-143 is for 8 existing farm buildings, 4 of which require variances, an existing accessory dwelling, an existing shipping container, an addition of a walkway from an office to a main dwelling. The property is located approximately 10.46 kilometers west of the town of Strathmore, 1.3 kilometers east of Range Road 270, and 1 kilometer south of Durham Drive. The application has been circulated internally to agencies and to the adjacent surrounding properties within 1 mile radius, as shown on page 44. Page 41 shows the site plan. This application proposes to address non-compliant structures located on the subject lands. A compliance review identified a number of structures which do not have development permits as required by the current land use bylaw. On page 45 is a picture of the addition of the walkway between the primary dwelling and the office. The office did have an approved development permit. The structure contains a washroom and is serviced by a separate septic and holding tank. Page 46 is a picture of the accessory dwelling that was built in 2003. The building is 1,527 square feet in size, with the primary dwelling being 3,844 square feet, which meets the land use bylaw requirement limiting an accessory dwelling to be no larger than 80% of the primary. There is 1 well that serves both structures, and both dwellings have their own septic systems. Page 47 is a picture of Farm Building Shop A. A development permit for a variance was previously rejected on development permit DP 2009-153. Development permit DP 2010-055 was subsequently granted without a variance. However, the building was not constructed within the required or approved setbacks. It is currently located 1.8 meters from the undeveloped Range Road 265 right-of-way, which runs between subject parcel and Diablin Field Area Concept Plan boundary. The manager of operations did comment in an internal circulation. The Transportation Department recommends that the variance to the required setback not be granted for Farm Building Shop A due to its close proximity of the road right-of-way. Future development of the roadway would lead to potential safety concerns for occupants of the building and the user of the roadway due to its being constructed within the clear zone adjacent to the roadway. Oops. The building may also increase drifting snow onto the future roadway and could be at risk of being struck by airborne snow during plowing operations. Should the right-of-way ever be widened to 30 meters, this would magnify the noted concerns. Page 48 is a picture of the 3 farm buildings. Indicated on the RPR as wood shelter B, C, and D, that do not meet the required setback of 1.52 meters between buildings as per the land use bylaw. To bring the buildings into compliance, a development permit with a variance is required. The subject parcel is currently surrounded by agricultural land, but is located within the West Highway 1 area structure plan. Access to the property is from Range Road 270 on the west side, with a secondary access to the north via a private road onto Durham Drive. In order to be compliant with the land use bylaw, development permits are required for the existing buildings and structures. Additionally, the structures which do not meet the setbacks may either be removed from the parcel, be moved into compliance, or variances to the setback requirements may be considered. This application has been made to request variances to the setbacks for the existing buildings. The following recommendation considers the concerns raised by the circulation. Staff is of the opinion that the land use bylaw variance criteria has been partially met and provide a recommendation to approve the variances for the setbacks between the farm buildings, shelter B, C, and D. Due to the concerns raised by the Transportation Department regarding the future development of Range Road 265, it is recommended that the variance for Farm Building Shop A be refused. This will require that the structure be relocated to the site within the parcel that meets the setback requirements or that is removed entirely. In conclusion, staff recommend that Municipal Planning Commission approve DP 2024-143 for 8 existing farm buildings, 3 which require variances, an existing accessory dwelling, an existing shipping container, and the addition of a walkway from an office to the main dwelling, subject to the following conditions 1 through 8 found on page 36. Please note, condition 8 states, an updated site plan must be submitted to confirm the farm building shop A has been relocated within the parcel to an area that complies with the approved setbacks or that has been removed from the property. A real property report must be submitted showing the change prior to July 31st, 2025. Condition 8 states the office that is attached to the primary dwelling via the walkway shall not be used as a separate residential living quarters. The proposal generally aligns with the South Saskatchewan Regional Plan, Regional Growth Management Strategy, Municipal Development Plan, Land Use Bylaw, Area Structure Plan, and the Area Concept Plan. MPC has the standard 3 response options found on page 36. This concludes my presentation. I'm available for questions.
Thank you very much. MPC's wishes. Yes, Member Clausen.
Make the motion that Municipal Planning Commission approve DP 2024-143 for 8 existing farm buildings, 3 of which require variances, an existing accessory dwelling, second residence, and an existing shipping container, and an addition of a walkway from office to main dwelling subject to conditions 1 through 8, which includes the number 3, which has the farm building that has to be relocated.
Thank you. Any discussion? I have one question, and it's like the homeowners, like the building that has to be moved, that shop that has to move, whoever's, they're okay with the July 31st date because it is relatively short timeframe.
I don't believe we reached out to them. The property manager, I believe, is here today if you wanted him to speak on that.
Well, I'm just wondering, like, it's sort of, you can't do any construction sort of before May. And so it's a very short period of time, and I'm just wondering if we shouldn't move that date just to give them more time to move, because we're not going to be doing any work on 265 this year, I can't imagine. So that is just up to the commission. I just think we should give them more lead time to do this. I would suggest October 31st, so it's done before the snow flies, but that is me. Is that a problem?
We can do that. Nope, that's not.
I'm fine with that.
Okay, we'll move that amendment prior to July, I don't know, is 31 days in July is there 31 days in October? We'll move it to October 31st, 2025. And I'm good with that. Any other discussion? If not, I'll call the vote. Member Eichert is in favor. Member Bigger?
In favor?
Member Laprise?
In favor.
Member Larson?
In favor.
Member Kester?
In favor.
Member Clausen?
In favor.
Member Link?
In favor.
Thank you very much. That is passed. We are now on to DP 2024-333.
Good morning. I'm Suzanne Hayes, Development Officer. I have 2 applications to present this morning, beginning on page 49 of the agenda package. The first one is for an existing Quonset requiring a variance. The location plan is on page 53. It is located approximately 9 kilometers southwest of the village of Rockyford, 1.6 kilometers east of Range Road 241 on the south side of Highway 564. We circulated to surrounding landowners within 1 mile. We didn't receive any responses. Alberta Transportation has issued a roadside development permit for the Quonset and a shipping container. And internally, the manager of operations has said, as the right-of-way is currently undeveloped, the transportation department has no concerns with the variance. So pages 54 to 56, we have the site plan and aerial photos. So the Quonset is existing, doesn't meet the setback. It is located 11.28 meters from the undeveloped road allowance on the east property boundary. The parcel is surrounded by agricultural lands on all sides. And Provincial Highway 564 borders the north property line. The road allowance on the east property borders the east property boundary. And as you can see, it has been developed about 30 meters into the road allowance, and that is how access to the parcel is obtained. Photos of the Quonset are on pages 58 and 59. Undeveloped road allowance is behind the Quonset there. Staff's recommendation is that MPC approve this application for the variance for the existing building with the conditions noted on page 50. And that concludes my presentation. There are 5 conditions noted there. Please let me know if you have any questions.
Thank you. MPC's wish. Member Kester.
One question, this Quonset, does it have a foundation?
I do not know if it has a foundation. It looks like it's on the ground. I don't see, I think it's a dirt floor.
That's what it looks like to me. It's pretty close to the road and it's on the wrong side the wind blows from. If that road ever gets developed, I'm worried about snow and whatnot. And I see some development going on to the south of that approximate area. So it's approximately 30 feet from the property line right now?
11.28 meters. Is that 30 feet?
About 35. My slow brain. Okay, I'll move that Municipal Planning Commission approve DP 2024-33 for the existing accessory building requiring a variance subject to the following conditions, 1 through 5. And we'll see what happens.
Thank you, Member Kester. Discussion. Seeing and hearing none, I will call the vote. Member Akert's in favor. Member Bigger.
In favor?
Member Laprise.
In favor.
Member Larson.
In favor.
Member Kester.
In favor.
Member Clausen.
In favor.
And Member Link.
In favor.
That is passed. We will move on to DP 2025-003.
This application begins on page 60 of the agenda package. It is for a worship facility, which in this case is a church, which requires a variance. The application was circulated to adjacent, the location plan is on page 65. It is located approximately 21 kilometers northwest of the village of Rockyford, 3.2 kilometers west of Highway 21, and 0.8 kilometers north of Township Road 280. Circulated to adjacent landowners within 1 mile. We did not receive any responses. Internally, we circulated to our internal staff members. Fire services said they had no concerns with the application or the variance. A fire inspection will be required prior to occupancy. And the transportation department said they had no concerns with the proposed setback variance to the road right-of-way. Pages 66 to 68 show the site plan and some aerial photos. So the new church is going to be constructed to replace one that was lost in a fire in 2023. It's going to be constructed in the same location as the previous church. The seating capacity is going to be reduced from 150 seats to 120. However, the footprint will be larger as the previous church didn't have had a basement, so it was about 2,700 square feet, and the new church won't have a basement, so it'll be about 5,000 square feet. So the variance has been requested to the setback from the west property line along Range Road 242. They're proposing to be 15.24 meters, and the required setback is 22.86 meters. The building is constrained from extending further east on the lot due to the septic system, a buried water line, and electrical lines. The previous church was located closer to the Range Road than the new church is proposed to be because it had the front stairs and sidewalk located on the west side, but the new church will face north and will front the parking lot. The parcel also includes an associated hall, and the two buildings will continue to share the gravelled parking area. Services are held currently in the existing hall, but once the new church is constructed, the hall will only be used occasionally for church functions, funerals, or local community events. When required, the parking area expands onto the acreage to the north, allowing attendees to park on the grass. So if we look at the aerial photo on page 68, you can see the parcel to the north, and that's where the cemetery is located. So that's where they expand their parking area. Staff's recommendation considered that the proposal aligns with the intent of the MDP policies as it is on an established site. No concerns were raised from surrounding landowners or the internal peer review. The recommendation is found on page 61, and it is to approve the application subject to the 10 conditions as noted. Please let me know if you have any questions.
Thank you. MPC's wishes. Member Kester.
I move that Municipal Planning Commission approve DP 2025-003 for a worship facility with variance, subject to the following conditions, 1 through 6, I believe. 10, yeah. 1 through 10.
Perfect. Thank you. Any discussion? Seeing and hearing none, I'll call the vote. Member Akers in favor. Member Bigger.
In favor?
Member Laprise.
In favor.
Member Larson.
In favor.
Member Kester.
In favor.
Member Clausen.
I'm in favor.
And Member Lenk.
In favor.
That is passed. That brings us to the end of today's MPC meeting. We are adjourned. Thank you very much. Thank you, Member Lenk.